Defoe, Robinson Crusoe, Part 139. And the astonishment this created in him was such as could not wear off for a long time, and I believe if I would have let him, he would have worshipped me and my gun. As for the gun itself, he would not so much as touch it for several days after, but he would speak to it and talk to it, as if it had answered him when he was by himself, which, as I afterwards learned of him, was to desire it not to kill him. Well, after his astonishment was a little over at this, I pointed to him to run and fetch the bird I had shot, which he did, but stayed some time, for the parrot, not being quite dead, had fluttered away a good distance from the place where she fell. However, he found her, took her up, and brought her to me, and as I had perceived his ignorance about the gun before, I took his advantage to charge the gun again, and not to let him see me do it, that I might be ready for any other mark that might present, but nothing more offered at that time. So I brought home the kid, and the same evening I took the skin off and cut it out as well as I could, and having a pot fit for that purpose, I boiled or stirred some of the flesh and made some very good broth. After I had begun to eat some, I gave some to my man, who seemed very glad of it and liked it very well. But that which was strangest to him was to see me eat salt with it. He made a sign to me that the salt was not good to eat, and putting a little into his own mouth, he seemed to nurse it and would spit and sputter at it, washing his mouth with fresh water after it. On the other hand, I took some meat into my mouth without salt, and I pretended to spit and sputter for want of salt, as much as he had done at the salt. But it would not do. He would never care for salt with meat or in his broth, at least not for a great while, and then but very little. Having thus fed him with boiled meat and broth, I was resolved to feast him the next day by roasting a piece of the kid. This I did by hanging it before the fire on a string, as I had seen many people do in England, setting two poles up, one on each side of the fire, and one across the top, and tying the string to the crossed stick, letting the meat turn continually. This Friday admired very much, but when he came to taste the flesh, he took so many ways to tell me how well he liked it that I could not but understand him. And at last he told me as well as he could he would never eat man's flesh any more, which I was very glad to hear. The next day I set him to work beating some corn out and sifting it in the manner I used to do, as I observed before, and he soon understood how to do it as well as I, especially after he had seen what the meaning of it was, and that it was to make bread of. For after that I let him see me make my bread and bake it too, and in a little time Friday was able to do all the work for me as well as I could do it myself. I began now to consider that having 2 months to feed instead of one, I must provide more ground for my harvest and plant a larger quantity of corn than I used to do. So I marked out a larger piece of land and began the fence in the same manner as before, in which Friday worked not only very willingly and very hard, but did it very cheerfully.